there. The pain I felt is paid for, all is said and done. Oh, I am restricted, fixed upon the web. I need to kick the habit that my mind is breathing in. Break out, I've got to see. Spent all my life holding all of it closely. I played it innocent, a feel of discontent. I'm finally facing it all, fearless. Burning the bridge that keeps us. I'm here and I'm feeling exaggerated, that's what you assume. The story's over now, I must conclude. I am conflicted, watching where I step still, hanging in the balance. Not the life I want to live, I want to take it all. Standing tall, fear I've weighed the person you are. Oh, break out, I've got to see. Spent all my life holding all of it closely. I played it innocent, a feel of discontent. I'm finally facing it all, fearless.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Golden Show here on the Blue Podcast. Unfortunately, I have a man short. I do have a coach, so I've dragged two people in from the Purple Show to give assistance to me, because otherwise it'd just be me talking for an hour. He wants to listen to my ugly face. I've named myself Danny Drinkwater today, just to sum up the made-up rolling. So I've got Cam. He was here with us last week. Cam's back on again, just to kind of do come in because other people can't. So Cam, how you doing?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Warm, very warm. And then making his debut on the Golden Show, also part of the Sky Blue Show, the Blue Show, and the Purple Show. We've got Ben Green, the Manchester City fan, the actual rare Man City fan that exists on the social medias that we all use. So Ben, thank you for coming on.
No problem. I might have to leave because of that comment anyway.
All right, so that's it. We're going to start off with some. We're going to start off with preseason talk. That's basically what it's going to be. We're going to talk about expectations. We're going to talk about Arsenal and Hibernian. Chelsea's preseason games were confirmed. Man City games have been confirmed, and then we'll talk about transfer business. So Cam, I'm just going to ask you straight up here. That Hibernian game, I know it's preseason and all, but it was quite painful to watch, wasn't it?
Doesn't matter. I didn't pay the £8 or £7 it was to watch it anyway. So, no, look, it's pre-season. It's the first game. We didn't play a good team. We played some youngsters. Let's not really talk about the goalkeeper that made the mistake. No, but yeah, not good. Not a good start. Put it that way. It just Banter FC back again. First game of the season. So.
What did you make of some of the players who were playing in that preseason game? Players that you still have at the club. Well, you got Willian, Nketiah, Cedric. You loaned out that young centre back once again for some whatever bloody reason.
To be fair, you've just named the players that I think shouldn't be at the club. Personally, I don't understand why they're there. I can't see. Willian, don't need to say anything. He shouldn't be there anyway. He's leaving. Hopefully he's as far away from Arsenal as possible. back in Brazil or America, somewhere that like will just pay his wages and just get him away from the club because he's not good for us. Like, no, Nketiah, don't see where he's going anywhere for Arsenal. Like, what does he add apart from missing one-on-ones and like sitting on the bench? And Cedric, okay, he's been okay as a filler, but he's not good enough. So
you give him a 5-year contract.
I know, but he's not good enough. This is the thing. Like, he's not good enough for where we want to be, and he shouldn't even be part of the squads. Like,
Ben, to ask you from a neutral point of view, is Cam right that this is just pre-season? They only had 4 training sessions, or do we really think Arsenal are in for another pure banter year, even without European football?
I mean, it's probably a little bit of both. Like, it is just pre-season, but it's not a great start. It's not covering themselves in glory with that performance. And like, I mean, we were talking before we started the podcast, sort of the state that some of the players came back in, i.e. Willian. Luckily, he's leaving, but when you see that, it's like the commitment levels are on the floor. Like, it's just.
Can you imagine if he wasn't leaving and then seeing that and being like, that's one of our players that's going to play for us next season?
Yeah.
Like, it's a state, absolute state. But like I said to you just before as well, like, who's going to get him? Who wants him? After seeing that.
We let him go free for a reason. You know.
Even free, you wouldn't take him because you've still got to pay his wages. His wages aren't little. They're not.
His wages are quite high, aren't they? His wages at Arsenal are ridiculous. Arteta badly wanted him, and it makes you think, Arteta, what did you see in him?
The only reason I think he's been brought into the team is because he's an experienced Premier League player and he has won stuff. That's the only reason. And his best mate is David Luiz. So, but I mean,
so David Luiz didn't last very long, did he?
I mean, he's another one who's off as well, isn't he? So
they go. So wherever he goes, Willian will go. Wherever Willian goes, David Luiz will go. So I mean, if one of them goes, the other's more likely to go. But I mean.
I'm going to read out some of these players that played. So I obviously named a couple there, but some other players that played here in the preseason game. So Kolasinac, he was at Schalke last season.
He was.
The guy who literally was in one of the worst Bundesliga teams in history.
Mm-hmm.
Would you keep him or would you chuck him out too?
I mean, so was Kabak, and Liverpool took him midway through the season. So,
but they had a crisis, though.
True. Actually, I don't even know whether Kolasinac was part of that, but he probably was. Let's be honest. Again, shouldn't be there. He's been a servant. He's done a job. It's not a very good job. Get rid of him. That's all it is.
No, Ben. I don't know how. Ben, you'll be with me on this. How is El Nedi still playing for Arsenal these days? How is he still in the team?
I mean, it's a strange one. I think it's part of it is Arteta doesn't know what he wants their identity to be, and to Arsenal trying to find their identity again. I think there's a bit of both. So it's like they've got like this sort of weird sort of mismatch of players in the team, like weird jigsaw that isn't quite fitting right because they're not sure what. Like I say, not sure what the identity wants to be, and Arteta isn't sure himself what the identity he wants it to be. But it's a bit of a weird sort of not quite fitting together jigsaw.
But you know what? El Neni went on loan to, I think it was Besiktas for the season. And he was all right. He was okay. But this is the Turkish league for Besiktas. Maybe that's his level, not Arsenal. So, I mean...
What about Reece Nelson? And I take it you're okay with Maitland-Niles. I don't think you have any issues with him. But what about Reece Nelson? I know Arsenal fans are a bit conflicted on him.
Do you know what? I think I've seen... After that game, I saw something about Reece Nelson saying he was actually tipped to be better than Sancho and I think some other players from the academy at Arsenal. I mean, Sancho has just been bought by Man United for however many million. Reece Nelson has been on loan for 2-3 seasons and can't get into the first team at Arsenal. So, I mean, I think he's got potential. He's got like the right things there, but he just needs performances. But how can he perform if he's not getting time on the pitch? So it's a bit of a tricky one with him. I think he could be there as a good player in the squad, but if he wants to play right wing, you've got Saka, Pepe, and then him. Is he
Willian.
the team? Willian's going. I'm not even counting with him. He's gone.
Some players that came off the bench, Ballerine, he's been linked to Inter Milan. Is there any concrete in that?
I hope so. I think at some point, Inter Milan have always been a bit interested in him. I think so. It's a French club as well. It might have been PSG or something like that.
Or PSG, probably, yeah.
If we could get a bit of money for him, I'd take that straight away because he's never been the same player since his ACL injury. He relied on his pace a lot because he's actually quite a poor defender. Now he's not got his pace; he's just a poor defender. So I would take that.
A player who under Unai Emery was very, very good. Under Arteta, has been rubbish. And I think it's into a question for Ben Lacazette. You know, I know Arsenal fans really liked him under Emery, but ever since Arteta's came in, I know he hasn't had the same form. I know Arsenal fans are particularly unhappy with how bad his finishing has become over the last few years. Are you okay? Do you think it's an off season for Lacazette, or are you like maybe we can get a good bit of money for him?
I think it's obviously he's had a dip in form, but I mean, you say it about all players; they don't become a bad player overnight. They still got quality in it, but I think it's not just him that had a dip in form; it was the whole team. So inevitably that affected him as well. But I mean, this might sound like it's easier said than done. I'm sat here in a chair, like chilling, whatever. Like I'm not like on the touchline, getting paid with the pressure on me. But if I was Arteta now, I would. I mean, like I say, it's easier said than done. But I would look at what worked last season. And what worked last season was your young players, like the young English players going through the academy. So I would just clear out, and I would give those players a chance.
Yeah.
Like we're saying, like your Reece Nelsons. I mean, I know some of them they're not great, in terms of finishing and stuff, but they will have the same hunger as Smith Rowe, Martinelli, Saka. Give them a chance. Go with that. I mean, obviously you want to keep those seasoned players like your Aubameyang and Lacazette, because they're obviously they've had a dip in form, but they're quality players, good finishers. You need those in your team. But give those young players a chance, and that's an identity then.
Yeah. Why not as well? We've got nothing else to lose. We just had the worst season for, I think, we had one of the worst starts in the Premier League history for us, and we've had one of the worst finishes that we've ever had before. So at this point, we're at rock bottom. So why not? Why not try and change things up?
Just to Ben's point there about the young players, you have a young striker who signed a new contract. Was it Bulgar? I can't say his name properly. And I know Arteta. I know a lot of people really know Arteta barely used the kid last season, and maybe thought that was him going without a contract. So was that someone like Ben said you would like to see also be used a lot more in this upcoming season?
Definitely. I think I would rather have him in the squad than Nketiah, because for me, Nketiah's been given a chance and he's not taken it. He's not good enough. He's been given a couple of seasons and he's done nothing. Whereas Balogun has been tearing up the youth Premier League and the youth squads. He's been so good for the youth squads, and for some reason he's not even been given any minutes, and it doesn't really make any sense because he's clearly a talent. So why, even towards the end of the season, when our season was dead, why is he not even playing at the end of the 20-minute game? I would put him in front of Nketiah and behind Lacazette. And like Ben said, why not? He could go and score some goals.
And the last thing I want to ask you about, Ben, this guy, according to this fan base, is better than Phil Foden, Alex Smith Rowe. Obviously, Aston Villa. I don't know why Aston Villa tried to I don't know why. I don't know where Aston Villa's logic was trying to get 40 million for like for throw. They pulled their arm. Someone who you like, obviously someone you like a lot, Cam. But Ben, do you think he's better than Phil Foden?
I mean, obviously, I'm not going to think he's better than Phil Foden, but that's not saying that he isn't he is a quality player. He is a quality player. There's no it's what I said before. Him, Saka, like Martinelli, those players, those were the shining light for that Arsenal team last season. In a season that didn't have many shining lights, and that's not being like.
He's not called him De Bruyne for anything, for like any other reason.
Like, it's not being sort of disrespectful, but it's like Cam said, it's Arsenal's worst season for years. And I mean, if he was to do what I said, like in terms of playing the youth players and stuff, you would be inconsistent. You'd probably come sort of maybe low top 10 or something like that. But at least then you've got a platform and an identity to build on for the next few seasons, and then you can add to that with some, a couple of signings here and there, and an event and start building it up. But I don't think that's not going to happen. I don't think that's going to happen because they don't know what their identity is going to be. Because you see by the signings, like they're getting youth players in, but they're not. It's not really sort of there's not really a cohesive.
It's almost like this. Yeah, like you said, they're still trying to find I couldn't tell you the starting 11, and that's going to be guaranteed, apart from maybe if someone picked up an injury or something. But whereas for most other teams, especially that are successful in the league, you can pretty much predict every single player in their position, and they will play that kind of system that way every single week for most games. Like for Arsenal, it could be like every single position could be debated on who's going to play. And I mean, if we don't know, then how do the players know? And I mean, I've played football, you play football. I'm guessing Josh has played football as well. Like
I'm a referee.
Well, okay, so you know football, but if you're playing with the same players week in, week out, you get to know how each other play, and you then will be able to play better yourself, knowing about what the players around you do as well. And if you're constantly rotating, then how are you supposed to do that? How can you build a team and build confidence, momentum, like structure? But we do need that identity, and if your players is the way, that's what we've got to do. So
I mean, I think that feeds back into like I was saying about Arteta himself doesn't even know what he wants the identity to be, which is it's difficult for him to be
himself. Like it's like a kind of mix of Guardiola plays really like attractive football. I'd like to do a bit of that. I played under Arsene Wenger, and this is Arsenal, so I want to play a bit of like attractive football from the back. But then I want to play how I want to play as well. So I've got to influence. So he's kind of got loads of different things going on, and it's not really working. It's like, but if he does find it, I believe that he can do well. He can win games comfortably. He can play attractive football. He can be successful. But I'm quite I'd say not a small part of the Arsenal fan base at the moment that are more like, well, give him a chance, see what he does because he's a good manager. A lot of people can't. They just want success now, and they don't want to wait for Arteta to figure out or the squad to figure out how they're going to win games.
Well, when you look at Arsenal's remaining pre-season games, so on Saturday you're away to Rangers, and if you struggle against Birmingham, you're struggling against Rangers, and then you've got Inter Milan, Chelsea, and Spurs. So your pre-season's quite, it's a good intense pre-season, but if you lose all of those games, is there maybe a slight concern going into the season?
We're not going to be expecting, apart from the Spurs game, we're not going to be expected to win those games even at pre-season. And you're still going to have to see. You're going to see rotation in the squad. It's not going to be like a Premier League game between Chelsea and Arsenal. It's going to be still a pre-season game. There's nothing on the line. I would be more interested in how we actually perform against those teams because they are top teams, and essentially we should be playing against those type of teams and competing because that's the level we want to be at.
On the 25th of July, are you going to stay up until 11 o'clock at night to watch the Inter Milan game in the Florida Cup?
Probably. I'll probably be up anyway. I might not watch it if Arsenal try and charge me another £8 for every game. No, I'll try and stream it or something. Yeah.
Okay, we'll come to possible like proper. We'll come into possible ends later. I think we'll give Mr. Ben a bit of light in terms of Manchester City. So first of all, regarding outs for Manchester City, is there anyone you know that's going out, or is Pep keeping all the players?
I think from all the rumours that I've seen, there are 2, maybe 3 players that are looking like they might be on the way out. One of them is Bernardo Silva, which I don't want him to go, but apparently he wants to go. So that's fair enough. I've seen Atletico and Barca are interested in him. And then the other one is Laporte, who wants more game time. I wouldn't want him to go either, but if he wants to leave, fair enough. And then the other one is Jesus, who wants more game time. I think, which is. I mean, he's not. I'd let him go. Like I don't really mind about that one. I mean, I do think he plays better as a winger, but if he wants to go, that's fine. Like he's just not. He's not a striker. He's not.
Jesus is like my Nketiah. That's how I can see it.
Yeah, no, it's true. And I mean, in terms of him wanting more game time, I get that as well because he like with our main striker, who obviously Aguero has gone to Barca now, who was injured most of last season. He didn't then play. He played a false 9 instead of playing him as a striker. That shows where he's at and where we're at with him. So, fair enough. But I think Bernardo and Laporte especially might go because with us going in for Grealish, they'll like as well. I think that must mean that Bernardo's on his way out because that like money must be coming in if we're going for Grealish.
You're not just going to go and spend 100 million without actually getting something back from someone else. Anyway. City aren't about that, are they? They don't go and spend like 100 million just for the sake of it, or 200 million or whatever. It's all about net spend. Remember, Ben? Net spend.
Net spend. That's it.
I know some City fans. Some City fans actually found on Twitter who I was speaking to said, again, maybe a new backup goalkeeper because they don't have a lot of confidence in Stack 7. Do you trust Stack 7 if Ederson was to get hurt, or would you maybe look and try and find someone half decent?
I mean, I've not really got an opinion on him either way. Like, I don't think he's awful, but I don't think he's amazing. Like, it's just, I don't really have a opinion. What I've seen of him, he did okay. Made a couple, 1 or 2 mistakes, but also made 1 or 2 decent saves. Like, one of them ones.
Actually, just going to Camel, who's Arsenal's backup next year? Because I see Matt Ryan's going to Real Sociedad in Spain. So who's your backup goalkeeper?
As far as I can see, Matt Macy might still be there.
He saved that Pepe's penalty for Hibernian, so he's still there.
So he's not at Arsenal. It's gonna be the goalkeeper that made the mistake.
No, it's not gonna be him.
But he's just gone from you, so I doubt it. So we've got to sign a goalkeeper, surely.
Okay, because really gone guys away to Turkey.
Matt Ryan's gone.
Matt Ryan's trying to Real Sociedad, so you have to sign someone, otherwise you are plenty, and you can't have a youth goalkeeper to back up.
No, why?
Because he was not confident. Like the difference from Emi Martinez to him. Like, no offense to him, but there's a goalkeeper.
Well, Ben, if I'm not mistaken, Scott Carson's probably available, isn't he? So.
Yeah, no, he's a City legend now.
It's all right. Petr Cech is one of your backup goalkeepers, so
he started on Saturday in the behind closed doors friendly. He's a starting goalkeeper. Anyway, if we're going to Manchester City's pre-season, you've only got 2 games. City have only played 2 pre-season games against Preston North End at the Academy Stadium, and then a team called Troyes.
Yeah, the French team, the part of the City football group. So
And then you play Leicester obviously in the Community Shield, and then a week after the season begins, you're going to be playing Barcelona in a charity match in Japan. So
Yeah.
you've got, I guess, who cares about the Community Shield, right? That's a friendly. Let's just get that's a friendly.
No,
Right?
that's a solid piece of silverware. That is.
All right, the only thing we're still going. All right, it's not the Aldi Cup. So you've got two preseason games, and you've got a charity game and a Community Shield. I guess that's Preston and Troy. Nothing spectacular. Barcelona left to be a good test, but I guess you don't really care about do you care about preseason? Because I guess Pep does Pep play to you from preseason, or is it mainly the first team players?
I mean, it's with it. So, like with City's squad and a lot of that squad being involved in internationals, it makes pre-season a bit more difficult. That's probably the reason why there's not as many friendlies. And he does play obviously some of the first teamers, but he does get some of the youth players involved. And I think it's good because obviously he gets all the first teamers minutes, but he gives all the academy players experience as well. So it's a bit like during the season when we've got like the sort of cup games and league games. He's very good at sort of that. Obviously, he loves rotation, but he's quite good at sort of when there's an important match at the weekend, but there's a cup game. He's quite good at giving the people who are going to play in that match some minutes just to keep them ticking over, and then they'll go into that match like on it. So it's a bit like how he does pre-season. Like it gives them enough minutes to keep them ticking over and get up to speed and stuff, but also gives the other players an opportunity so that we can go into that match.
There's two youth players down there that's quite raved about with Man City. Phil was one of them until they got promoted. And the other two would be Tommy Doyle and Liam Dunlap. Are they two youth players that apparently you would have up there as some of your best at the moment?
I mean, like obviously Liam Dunlap's scored that good goal in the League Cup against Bournemouth earlier last season. But I've seen Tommy Doyle play a few times, both obviously on TV, and I've seen him a couple times live. And I like him. He's a son of an ex-City legend, and like I think another he's related to another City legend or something like that. But he looks good to me. Like he puts in a graft, and he's got he's not scared to put in a tackle, and he's got a good passing range and good delivery. I like him. I'm not saying he's going to start like next season or going to start every game or whatever. Or
how does he get into your team?
That's but like if the opportunity arises, then like he is good. I think. But
I hope you lose to Preston just for the absolute lulz. Just for the lulz. Just regarding these preseason games, the two actual preseason games. Actually, put this Barcelona one first. Do you think it's a bit weird that you're going to travel to Japan after your opening league game just to play a Barcelona and some charity game?
I mean, I wasn't aware. I thought it was in Barcelona that charity game.
No, it says here on goal where I've got your preseason games that the game's now being moved to Japan. That's why it's being played after the season starts.
I see. No, it says. But I've seen it. Seen it play at the Camp Nou. But I mean, whether it's playing in Japan or in Spain, like I remember a few years ago we had done that before. It's a very odd one. Like sort of playing 2 games of the season and then doing a friendly midweek and then going back into the season. But I guess it's like because we've not got many friendlies at the start of the season, they've just put one in there just to sort of get the legs going a bit more.
Isn't the Olympics in Japan? Maybe they're trying to tie it in with the Olympics?
Yeah, but I mean, from what I see here, it says Man City and Barcelona reached agreement over a Camp Nou match late in August. So I thought it's in Barca.
May still be there. Just maybe goal I've got it completely wrong. But either way, it's a bit of a hassle, though, isn't it? Especially when the Premier League's
Well,
already.
I think I remember it happened a few years ago because we played Girona, another team in the City Football Group, after a couple of games of the season midweek in a charity match similar, and he played a lot of youth players. So it's not really like first teamers aren't going to be trekking over there and then trekking back for the match. It'll just be some first teamers, but a lot of the youth will be going to that match probably.
Okay, so we're going to move into. We're going to start talk roughly about ends of your two beautiful teams. We'll start off with Arsenal. This could be a very long list, but how many players do Arsenal realistically need, Cam?
Well, I would like to see a centre attacking mid because, I mean, Odegaard's gone, so we need to replace him. And Smith Rowe can't do it all by himself, he's still young. So, I mean, I've seen rumours of Aouar again recently, which we'd get him quite cheap, I think, as well, considering the calibre of play he is. He would be really, really good to see. But, I mean, I'm not sure about that. That's the same as last year. It was all green light, and then it all just fizzled out. So we will see. So centre attacking mid. I still want to see another centre mid because Xhaka's potentially leaving to Roma, which seems pretty concrete. Ideal for me would be Basuma. Basuma and Partey would be solid in field. And then I still think that we need a centre back for David Luiz because he's going. Who I don't know, maybe bring some experience.
Just on a note about that centre back, right? This was a Sarabia or something like that who you signed from Saint Etienne three seasons ago. Why is he not even given a chance to play in pre-season? Like, why is he just being chucked out on loan? There's no option to buy, no obligation to buy for him. So obviously Arsenal have him in his plans, but why is he not even allowed to have a pre-season with Arteta? Like,
I don't think it's not because he's not good enough. He is like he's a good player, and I think Arsenal know that, which is why they're only loaning him, not sending him out, like getting some money for him or giving them an option to buy. I think it's personally down to him. He would rather be in France because he's more comfortable in France. I've talked about it before on like other podcasts and stuff. His mum and dad died when he first joined Arsenal. And for that reason, which is completely out of anyone's hands, which is awful, like he then had to go back to France to be around his family and be around his friends. And I personally think it's just a personal decision that he's still going back to France. But obviously Arsenal want to keep him as a player because he's a really good player. I don't think it's not a decision that's in Arsenal's hands in a way. It's down to him because of those like circumstances. But he'd be ideal to bring in because he's still young and he's quality. He's Fofana. You've seen what Fofana's done for Leicester, and Saliba was supposed to be the better one of the two for Saint Etienne. So, and obviously a goalkeeper as well because we're not having that young goalkeeper as our backup, are we? So,
I'm available.
Go for it. The game against Chelsea, do a pre-season. Just don't mess up like that, please.
But we're going to Man City, Ben. And I take it you're very much like Chelsea. All you really need is a striker, maybe a left back too. Or are you happy enough with Zinchenko and Mendy?
I think in terms of a left back, I've heard that sort of Mendy, he's got 1 year left on his contract, so we're going to keep him for that year and then let him go. So I think that I will get a left back next summer. I've seen that Nuno Mendes from Sporting Lisbon linked, but that's probably for a year, like say next summer. And then obviously, like you're saying, we desperately need a striker. And obviously there's Chelsea linked with Haaland, but that's going to take crazy bids of 150 million or something like that, which Chelsea will be a lot more willing to do than City. So if there's anywhere that it'll go this summer, it will be Chelsea. If he doesn't, then there's going to be a complete frenzy next summer to try and sign him for 35 million release clause. But yeah, if Chelsea are willing to pay that money, then he will go Chelsea. And then obviously we've put in that 100 million bid for Kane, which has been rejected, and I can't see us going higher than that, really. And I think I just can't see the Kane happening. I can't see Levy or Levy letting him go, and I just can't see us willing to spend more than that on a 27-year-old. He's obviously Premier League proven, fantastic goal scorer, but he's a 27-year-old who's injury prone.
He's got a very dodgy ankle. Very dodgy ankle.
And then the other one is Grealish, which I think is the more likely of the two.
Do you really need him, though? Does he really fill a position that you need?
Well, with Bernardo going, yeah.
So, where's Bernardo Silva going?
Atletico or Barca, apparently.
I'd have to go Madrid. Gee, that's terrible for him. He's selling this one half the time.
But
see, when it comes to strikers, right? Would you? There's a lot of talk about Griezmann leaving Barcelona. Would you potentially take a risk on Antonio Griezmann?
I mean, if all else came to fail, then maybe. But I think City have already said that they're not interested. So
I think we're to see him.
Griezmann as well as part of a swap deal for Saul as well.
Saul, yeah, they've already agreed that now. So, it's crazy that they've got Griezmann for 2 years. He's like done nothing basically. No, he's not done nothing, but like he's not done as well as they wanted him to. He won a Copa del Rey, and now he's going back. So
I mean, look at the business from Atletico Madrid. They sold him for 100+ million, wasn't it, to Barcelona?
Yeah.
And then they're getting him back for. Well, Saul was a key player for them, but I mean, they'll be plus still. Like they'll still be positive on him.
I think Saul wanted to leave anyway, didn't he? So
win-win for Atletico. Then,
yeah.
Regarding the season ahead, our very early predictions, Cam, do you think Arsenal might make a top half this season?
Of course, yeah. It's the only thing. It's the only thing we've got to focus on. So we're gonna be. I think we're gonna do better than last season. Put it that way. And this season coming up, literally all we've got to do is win a game on the weekend. That's it. We're gonna have some domestic stuff as well.
That's a lot for Arsenal, though, isn't it?
If we won the FA Cup, which Arsenal like to do, and nothing else, and then got back into European football. Obviously, Europa League is Europa League, but at this point, I'd take it because the Premier League is so competitive right now. That there's a massive group of teams. Like at the top four is hard to pick, like which order, and then everyone down from about 4th to about 9th, 10th is also really difficult to pick because they're all good enough to be anywhere in that kind of bracket, and Arsenal are part of that as well. So.
Joel, we're going to make this show very interesting. We have another guest join us out of the blue. You two have not met this guy. I don't think you two have met this guy. I could be wrong, but this is cool. This is Reece. Reece, he lives in Scotland. He's a Manchester United fan. Reece, to the side of you, you've got Ben. He's a Manchester City fan. He's a part of the Blue podcast. And then above him, you've got Cam. He's an Arsenal fan. Who's also part of the Blue podcast.
This is right. Now.
Well, this is interesting.
I don't think you don't really speak to Arsenal Man City fans on podcasts, do you? So this is maybe new territory for you.
Well, I've spoken to a few Arsenal fans, but Man City maybe just won. So
we are just talking about I was talking about Arsenal's kind of what's going to happen in the season, what I want to happen. As a Man United fan, the ones that I've spoken to are like, we're going to win the league. So, I mean, I don't know where you stand, but after these transfers, they're pretty confident.
And a new coach, and a set piece coach too, which is a big part of Man United's Eric Ramsey. I know, Reece, you're very happy about Eric Ramsey, but I'll start off. I'll start off in the same process as I did with the other two. So first of all, pre-season, you have your first pre-season. You come up against Derby, don't you? Here on Sunday, it's going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot of youth players. You don't have very many senior players in June at the moment, so I think you're not really expecting too much. Unless you get a high Birmingham mistake like Arsenal had.
You know what? I'm not too bothered in terms of the who plays and who doesn't, because either way, it's just trial and error. It's about getting the players fit for the season, something we didn't have last year. I'm sure Ben can relate. Like, our European seasons last year ended very late, so it's good this time around. And on the back of that, it gives us great confidence in terms of who we have at our disposal. I think using the young players will give us a bit of a chance as well, because they're going to be used a lot more in terms of the season as it progresses, because we can rotate better. And obviously with Eric Ramsey coming in, which I've been asking for an elite coach for a while, and this is one that obviously worked at one of the best academies in football, in terms of English football, at Chelsea. Liverpool wanted him personally as well. He turned them down a couple of years ago. Now he's got a really tough job at Man United, and to be fair, I look forward to the challenge, because obviously set pieces, both offensively and defensively, we're not particularly great at. So this gives us a bit of a tactical edge.
Oh, 100%. So you've got height that you've not been using. Like, I mean, we all know Slabhead and the job that he does for England at set pieces, and you've never really seen it for Man United. Pogba's not small, McTominay's not small, Cavani as well. He's got a head on him. So
that's true.
I mean, if you start becoming a set piece team,
I don't think we're going to necessarily become a set piece team, but one thing we will be is we'll be a lot better in terms of dealing with set pieces, which is going to be even better.
In terms of ins and outs of Man United, obviously you've seen Sancho's in. I know. I think you're retweeted by Ferran. It seems it's just getting closer and closer and closer as the days go by, which is just scary thing. Maguire, Ferran at the back. That's not good.
There's going to be around about 39-40 million pound offer made to Real Madrid next week.
But the only downside is you still have McFred in front of them, so I take it
that's all right.
A CDM though? Do you need a CDM? Do you see? Yeah, is Rice realistic?
To a degree, because obviously West Ham want 90 to 100 million, and I don't care how good an international tournament he had for England, he's not a 90 million pound player. But obviously West Ham are in a position where he's on a 5-year contract, so they're in a position where they can command a high fee. So I totally understand that. They've already come out and said they can't afford Jesse Lingard, they can't afford the 30 million, which you finish in the top 6. You'll have money there, like, stop bullshitting. But if they can't afford it, then fine, we'll just offer 60 million plus Jesse Lingard. It's a win-win for both clubs. You get money, plus you get a player that you want for an attacking position. It gives us a defensive midfielder that we sorely lack. And then after that, we're switching to 4-3-3.
Ben, from the other side of Manchester, compared to the fellow companion over there, do you get worried about Manchester United next season with the squad that they're building? Could you challenge yourselves, or do you think that maybe they won't step up, or do you think Solskjaer cannot take them to that next level? Because I know Cam from speaking to George last week, kind of joined George in the all the out train. Obviously George is very massively all the out, as you know as well, Reece.
Keep him there as long as possible.
Cam agree with George. So Ben, where do you sit on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? Could he take Manchester United in a title race with Pep Guardiola?
I mean, I don't know. It's not that I'm not worried, but you got to take him seriously. Like we got to take him seriously last season. The United, at the end of the day, they beat us twice. Not last season, but the season before. So we need to improve our form against them in the league. But out of the last 4 matches in the league, we've lost 3 of them. We won the matches in the cup. We won the matches in the cup semis, but in the league, we need to improve. That shows right there that we need to take him seriously. I wouldn't say that I'm worried because I'm like
You're still the best. You're still the best team in the league by far, anyway.
Like I expect us to also make signings to improve, but that doesn't mean that we're not going to take United seriously because, like, obviously these are if United get these signings that they are linked with, they are good signings. I was going to say about sort of the top four. I think it's like you're saying, it's going to be very difficult for other teams to break into that top four. I think it's pretty. Don't know what order it'll be, but it's pretty.
And it's been the same. And it's been the same top four the past 2 seasons as well, regardless of order. It's been Man City, Man United, Liverpool, Chelsea.
Yeah, I think
it's like the new top four.
Yeah, I think it'll be like that.
They're all capable of winning as well. They're all capable of that. I mean,
exactly.
I feel bad for you, Cameron, because I'm a Chelsea man. Chelsea should be up there. You've got United, who definitely should be there. You've got City, who will be there, and then you just got UFA for European Conference League.
They didn't even qualify for that.
I don't even want that. I'm glad that we didn't get that. Otherwise, we'd be travelling to. Oh, don't get me started.
You'd be travelling up to Scotland to get beat off Hibs.
We've already.
Just very quickly, I know it's pre-season. I know Rangers don't have all their players back. I know Glenn Kamara's back in training, but do you think Rangers could beat Arsenal here in this pre-season game on Saturday at Ibrox?
Oh yeah, Rangers can beat Arsenal, and it won't even be a brush off the park. It'll be like if Rangers actually get stuck into Arsenal, yeah, they can beat them.
They can, but they just won't.
We
can't allow it. We can't allow it.
To be fair, that's not even the game we're looking forward to. We're looking past you. We're looking towards Real Madrid.
Rangers are playing Real Madrid.
July 25th at Ibrox.
Yeah,
that's big for Rangers. That is.
We're going to Manchester United's pre-season game. So as I said, Arsenal have quite a packed pre-season. Man City are doing most of their stuff on the training ground. Chelsea have quite a busy pre-season. I'll talk about Chelsea after this. But then you're away to Derby here on Sunday, and then you got QPR away, Brentford at home, and then you got Preston away. So also you're keeping it very local. You're keeping the Championship or newly promoted teams. Do you think that's probably just a good sound base? Nothing too intense. Right, yeah. Nothing too intense, but good wee tests at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely. Just turn the cam off for a bit because it keeps doing that stupid flash thing. But no, you're right. And in terms of who we've got, in terms of a pre-season, they're not exactly easy game. Well, realistically, they should be easy. But obviously, because it's pre-season, you're getting players back. There could be an upset in there. So, like, there could be an upset in there. Like, we could end up losing or drawing to Derby, for example, or we could lose to Preston. We've got Everton as well. Like, Rafa Benitez has just came in. His first big test is a pre-season game against Man United. And he's already got the history against United, what he knows. So that's going to be even better as an old rival. But in terms of what I expect us to be a bit more on the front foot in these pre-season games. Show that we want to dominate teams. Press them high up from the beginning, like press them high up from the attackers, because we've got Cavani, who, to be fair, in the league, Cavani's probably the best pressing striker in the league from what he done last year. Like, the man's 34 and he doesn't know when to stop running. He presses you. Shock.
No, you are right. It's just if he can stay fit for me, for Cavani. Yeah. Otherwise, it's going to be a problem for anyone. So.
He's been told he's only playing about 60% of our games next year. But to be fair, that a 60% game Cavani, it's still dangerous. So we'll still have like say Greenwood or Martial, depending on who we go with, and Sancho coming in gives us an extra attacking threat, the creative aspect as well. Finally, and it shows up the right wing, which we've not had since Ronaldo left 12 years ago. So it gives us something.
Regarding outs and Telles to Roma,
I don't see him going. I don't think he'll go.
It's a big deal. United won't to loan him out. And I was on Rich's channel, as you know, a couple of nights ago, and also there's a Man United on our talk as well. We kind of made that point. he was saying about maybe if you sell Alex Telles for 25, 30 million to try and fund Trippier, but it makes no logical sense because why would you try and get a backup right back just to leave no backup left back? You're not really solving a problem. You're just kind of switching it around. So do you see
We're
this?
not getting that amount anyway for him. I mean, we paid like 13 million for Telles. We're not going to get 25 for him because he barely done anything last year to warrant the money.
I
I don't see it happening, to be honest.
What are outings? Do you see Martial leaving? Do you think Fo Jones will find to be shipped out? He hasn't even turned up for pre-season apparently, so it's a good start.
I don't know who's going to leave. There is a good chance that there is a good chance that he could leave. But I don't think Martial's going to leave because obviously Marcus Rashford's going to be out for about 2 months due to recovering from surgery, and whether we sign someone or not, Martial, I think he's on his last chance at the club this season. I think this is his last. He's only had 2 good seasons.
I wouldn't even say he's had a good whole season. He's not been anywhere near what you've needed. Like for me watching him, like he's been just not on it. He doesn't even look like he wants to play sometimes. Like I mean, but then it's lucky you've had Cavani come in to kind of take his place a little bit because Martial's been from what I've seen when I've watched Man United, he's been okay and he scored some good important goals. Like no doubt about it, he's got quality, but I just don't think he's suited to Man United or the Premier League. I just don't. Like,
no, I get where you're coming from, and I totally agree. There is moments where frustration or no movement. But then he has moments of brilliance where he'll score like something random, like that goal he scored against City before the lockdown, for example. He caught the City defence off guard just by his movement. So he can do that, but no, you're right. I get where you're coming from.
Yeah, but if he can do that, why not do it more? Why not show everyone what you can do?
I mean, what do you call it? I mean, he might turn up next season now, but the fact that it was inserted into his contract when he first signed for United that he would get a bonus if he won the Ballon d'Or shows how much they sort of they're sort of view of him. And like you say, sometimes you're watching him and he's like, oh, this is a good player. This Martial, this is a good player. And then other times he just doesn't look arsed, doesn't look interested. He's like, oh no, whatever.
Well, Reece, I said this to you, way back before on the World of Football podcast. That, when Cavani came in, he had a massive attitude problem with Cavani coming in. He wasn't happy. He wasn't happy with Cavani coming in because like his work rate, his attitude, just like everything about Martial, the season before to when Cavani came in was just night and day. It was disgustingly unsportsmanlike. That he just did not like having someone compete him for his place in the team.
No, you're absolutely right, because you look at the strikers that have came in where he's had to compete against and his head drops, like Zlatan Ibrahimovic, Romelu Lukaku, Cavani. The only one he didn't really have a problem with, because I don't think he feared the competition, was Odion Ighalo. He didn't fear that competition at all. He's like, I'm not getting dropped regardless. But I've said it before. I mean, he's a player that I like, and I don't think he's a striker. He's a left winger. He should be competing with Rashford for the left wing position. But in terms of Martial, what I've always said about him is he has the talent. He just needs to just be a bit more consistent with application, show a bit more commitment that he wants to work, because he's got brilliant talent. He's got brilliant hold up play of the ball as well, and he does have the pace to cause damage. And he's a brilliant finisher on his day. But a player should thrive off competition, not sink. And he does, unfortunately, at times sink, and it's not good for a player's mentality. It's not good at all.
I mean, as well. Go on, Ben.
No, sorry, I was just going to say, just even sort of his like I was saying, even his body language and facial expressions. That might just be his face normally, but he just doesn't look interested. He's so disinterested in the match. Like he's just like, he misses a chance. He's just like, whatever. Like it should be.
Ben, it sounds like you're describing me 24/7.
But he should be like, really, seething that he's missed a chance, or like really upset with himself. But he doesn't seem to have that.
See, what I don't really understand is that he can go on like massive like droughts in like poor performance, like lack of anything, lack of energy. But if he was scoring goals, if he was providing, and he still had like poor work rate, you wouldn't really mind that much because he's still contributing to the team in some way. It's when he gets absolutely hammered by everybody when he's on a goal drought and he's not doing anything about it. So, but then he needs to be dropped out of the team. But then if he's got an ego problem, he's going to hate that even more. Like,
Yeah.
I see. I can kind of. Roberto Firmino does about the same goal contributions in a season as Martial, but Firmino's got the work rate to warrant not so much of the goals and assists and whatever. Martial hasn't got that, and people, I honestly don't see why Man United put up with him. Like, I can't.
Is he much rated?
Yes, I think he is rated. Yeah, I mean, I know Mourinho didn't particularly rate him. He wanted to replace him with Perisic because obviously the hard worker, ready-made. Martial was more about the not yet the finished article, still developing, and he didn't want to take a chance on him. And I totally get that. And you saw it in the second season when we finished second, like how the season started. Like Marcus Rashford's Martial started the first game. We won 4-0. And he switched Rashford on the second half to Martial. Both of them scored in that game. You go the following week, we win 4-0 again.
Just while you're going, Reece, I remember when you played us at Stamford Bridge under Sarri when Mourinho was there. I remember I think it was 1-0 to Chelsea at half time. We brought Martial on at half time on the left wing, and Martial ripped us apart in that second half.
Yeah, we tore Yanu one.
And then Ross Barkley scored.
Sorry, Karen.
Ross Barkley scored the last minute equaliser. I remember Martial came on, and that's just the Martial. Because if he play like that every game, he's unstoppable.
I genuinely think as a left winger, he's so much more effective. Like Marcus Rashford, you can't play Rashford on the right because he doesn't suit the position. And as good as he is through the middle, he's better off cutting him from the left. Those are the perfect two players to compete against each other on the left wing. And then you've got the right hand position, which is stronger now, but it's the middle where you've got Greenwood and Cavani. That's perfect. But Martial, he can get goals
every day though. Over Martial on the left. Right.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, even though his injury problems last year, which have been reported for so long, he's still getting 25 goal assist contributions, which is scary if he's not even fully fit. Imagine what he could get if he's fully fit.
My final question to you, Reece, regarding Manchester United. Paul Pogba, final year of his deal. Do you take the risk and let him? Is there any clubs like Juventus, Real Madrid interested, or is he going to stay? Is he going to go on a free in the summer? Maybe he'll join Pep Guardiola's City next season to replace Fernandinho. What do you think is going to happen with Paul Pogba?
From what I've heard, there is contract talks for Pogba. He's in contract talks next week.
I know you're not a big fan of Mino Raiola, so I know you're probably not going to be too happy with this, with him being involved in this.
I hate him. In terms of the Pogba contract negotiations, I heard it's going to be around 450k a week.
I mean, if you think about the Haaland deal with Chelsea, if that was to go ahead, 150, Raiola is wanting 40 million in agent fees.
I don't know how he can get that because he's not even the agent as well. He's just an advisor.
He's such a slimy guy, isn't he? Like,
yeah, I don't trust Riona at all. I think he's just an agent whore. That's what he is.
So
he pours out his clients so easily, and I'm like, I know you want the money, but you should be doing better for them, not for yourself.
So you see Pogba staying, but it's going to be massive wages. I can only assume to keep him.
well, from what I've heard, it's going to be around 450k a week, but I don't know how long contract it's going to be. But
Well,
he's a player we can't afford to lose because, like, frankly, who do you replace a player with Paul Pogba with? Who do you replace him with?
I'll go to the neutrals on this. Given Paul Pogba's time at Manchester United, is he worth the 450k a week?
Not given the time he's had at Man United, no. But in terms of the potential that he's got, and the, like Reece said, how can you replace a Paul Pogba? You can't. So it's either you have him and you pay the money, or someone else has him and he tears you a new one at somewhere else instead. Like he's absolutely like unbelievable.
I'm going to say. Oh, go ahead, Ben.
Sorry, he suffers a little bit of sort of what Martial suffers from. Like, they're both quality players, but the application and work rate just isn't there. So, like, with Pogba, he turns up for like 5 minutes and then he's done. He's done. He's done for that game. Like,
in those 5 minutes, he can determine a whole game.
Oh yeah, but like you need more than that at Manchester United. You need more than that. Like,
I think it's like I don't know. I've watched quite a lot of Man United. I've got Man United friends that are fans, and I mean, where's the pride of playing for Man United? Like, where's that kind of grit of like, this is Man United. I'm gonna perform. I want to be the best. Like, that's kind of gone a little bit from these types of players. I think like Martial, Pogba. That's what they're missing. Is like the whole kind of sense of, I'm playing for Man United. I'm going to perform for the fans. This club deserves more, and I'm one of the best in the world. And I'm playing for the best club in the world. Like, that's But
exactly, and that's what I've always viewed for any players. If you're playing for Man United, you shouldn't be there for the money. You shouldn't be there for the spotlight on you. You should be there to want to win things, because when it comes to overall success, global appeal, fan base, European nights, historical moments, is there a club bigger than Man United? Only one, and they play in Spain, and he's not going to go there now. He's not going to Real Madrid. They're potentially the only other club that Man United.
Historically, I can't argue with that, but currently Man United are not. Okay,
we're not the Man United. We're not the Man United of old. That's right. We're not the Man United of old.
Not right now, but that you should be, and you should be getting players that want to be that way. But I can't see the players, all the players. I can't see all the players acting the same way. So
the players that we are signing, though, like, one thing I've never been in, like, Josh knows this, I'm not all in or all out. I generally cannot be arsed with the argument, because people use it as a weapon, and when they use it as a weapon, it defeats the argument. But the players that he has actually brought in, the vast majority of them are, even though we've not won anything yet under Solskjaer, and we could well win something this year, the players he's brought in, to a degree, have worked, or they have improved the team in positions where we were lacking. Like, Bruno Fernandes has given us a creative attacking threat that we haven't had for so long from a number 10. Maguire shored up the defence. Wan-Bissaka's a right back we can have for the next decade. Tellez has managed to improve Luke Shaw by just giving him a kick up the arse. And I look at that and I'm like, that gives me confidence. And I'm like, now we're going to have a pre-season with players who were a bit doubtful last year. Like Van de Beek was not particularly great last year. Give him a pre-season in a position that suits him. Also, he's going to be rotated a bit more this year, which is better. Then we'll see what's to come from him. But no, I get what you mean in terms of, like, you should want to play for Man United, and that's what I've always wanted. Is I want players who want to be there, that want to put on that shirt with pride and be like, I play for Man United. I'm a Man United player, and I'm here to win something. I'm not here for my own personal ego.
Move it. Actually, go ahead, Ben. Sorry,
I was just going to say. I mean, there's no doubt under Solskjaer, United have improved. They absolutely have improved. I think a lot of the discussion is whether Solskjaer is the man to sort of take you that next step to winning something, or he's just the guy who's just put you on the path to doing that. I think that's where
I've always went on the balance side of, I want him to do well. I just don't know what his limit is, like his glass ceiling. I don't know how far he can go. But I've never called for a manager to get the sack. I just want the best for them. I just want the best for the club, best for the fans, best for whoever's in charge. I want it to be on the three fronts balanced, but sometimes it's not always like that. If he doesn't, he might not win us a league, but the one good thing is, if he was to win something and step down in the next season, for example, we're in a far better position to go and win something because the squad's in a better shape than
So
what Mourinho.
basically, what you're saying is you'd be okay if it was like Frank Lampard. Lampard might not been there as long, but Lampard came in. He came in when Chelsea were in a difficult time. Solskjaer came in when United were in a difficult time. They seen through the storm. Lampard got Chelsea to where Chelsea needed to be. Solskjaer got United to where they needed to be. Obviously, Lampard got rid of a lot of deadwood. He brought in all the young German talents. Brought in Mendy, Thiago Silva. So are you saying it's a very similar story to where Solskjaer is in the transition, and then if the transition doesn't work out, is it then we'll have Frank Lampard to get a top European coach like Thomas Tuchel in to take you to that next level?
I generally think so, because you look at Mourinho was the so-called man that was going to win the league. He was going to end Guardiola, and he was going to go and win the title. He got a second, got us a couple of trophies.
But that's not. You want to be winning like the Premier League above everyone else. You want to be Champions League caliber. So
I agree. Says Reece is actually normally very good. So Reece,
it's Jose Mourinho. He's there. He's listening. He's listening.
Terrible. Look at that picture, lads. That's terrible. Oh, poor guy. I couldn't.
TikTok anyone?
I'm going to use that on Twitter. Right, well, Reece will come back and I'll see if Reece is despair. I'll just do that until he comes back, just to help the guy. We'll go back to you, but I want to ask you about Chelsea. I'm not going to talk about Chelsea because I'll be here all day. But Chelsea. No, Cam, I think I told you this last week on the show about how my players came back to pre-season. I don't know if that was you or not. I don't know. I can't actually remember. But I'll say this to Ben. So hopefully Reece when he joins back. So when Chelsea came back to pre-season on Saturday, all right, just wait for this. All right, 33 players for Chelsea came back, and only 7 of them are first-team players. The rest is a loan army. So Chelsea obviously have a massive, like you're talking gigantic, massive, humongous pre-season squad. And some of those names include Danny Drinkwater, Ross Barkley, Davi Samacosta, Timi Bakayoko, Lewis Baker, amazing count, Ruben Loftus-Cheek. He's not destined to be in the squad, so there's a lot of players. I know Mark Gucci, who was on loan to Swansea last season. He's going to Crystal Palace, which I'm got about. Conor Gallagher to Cork. I'm listening to game players for days here. But Chelsea have a behind closed door friendly against Peterborough. We go down south next week, down in Republic of Ireland to play, or down a team there. And we play Bournemouth, and then we play Arsenal and Spurs. So our pre-season is quite good. Right, striker away for us now. You've got Jesus still technically at the moment, Ben, don't you, as your striker?
Right. Sorry, what's that?
You have Jesus still, don't you? On the wage bill, he's still a Man City player.
Yeah.
Jury's away to AC Milan. Tammy Abraham's potentially actually going to Arsenal. Arsenal interested in him. I'm sure you've seen about that, Cam.
I doubt it. No.
Tammy Abraham was linked with Arsenal, though Aston Villa wanted him. Abraham's going to be out the door because we've all seen what happened with him last season. He just completely lost. Tuchel just didn't use him at all. So we generally do not have a striker at the club next season. And the only good striker that's out there is Haaland. So I'm going to ask you two the impossible question. Will Roman Abramovich, it's Roman Abramovich's decision. It's purely his decision. Fabrizio's made this clear. Is Chelsea going to take the risk and go into the season with an average striker or no strikers, or do you think Abramovich is going to pay up the massive money to pull off this incredible deal?
If there's a club that'll pay 150 million for him, it's Chelsea. I'll put it that way.
Sorry about that. Wi-Fi's been acting up. It must be a really shit area. It's been like this for a while. I need to get this fixed.
So go ahead, man.
Sorry, on Haaland, there's a club that's willing to pay 150 million for Haaland. It's Chelsea. Like, there's no two ways about it. And I think if Chelsea do get Haaland, they will be very yeah, like the amount of chances you were creating last season, but not finishing them, like because of Werner,
Werner.
like with Haaland in that squad, you'll be finishing a lot of those chances. So that'll be scary. So it'll take City signing someone like a Kane and a Grealish to be able to sort of match that.
Well, see the Champions League final. Timo Werner had 2 glorious chances in the first 5 minutes. Like, the Champions League final could have been over before it started. If Haaland was in those Timo Werner positions.
Yeah. No,
I don't think you're going to get him.
Right, so,
I genuinely don't.
Right, Ben, you're sitting on the fence by the sounds of it. You really don't know which way it's going to go, do you? Right, so Ben's on the fence. Cam, you're in the no camp.
All right, okay, so you're going to get a striker because you need a striker. You need a couple of strikers, really.
Two realistically, yeah. Unless Werner plays up front, but Tuchel didn't play him up front last season. He was on the attacking midfielder, so which I think Reece did say he was probably more suited to Werner rather than playing as an out-and-out 9. So that's unsurprising because he's a Leipzig fan. So who do you think? Do you think we're going to sign anyone magnificent, or do you think it's going to be like a Chris Wood or someone just to literally play up front for the sake of playing up front?
No, it's going to be someone good because you only buy quality now. Like you're not going to be buying someone like Chris Wood, are you? Do you remember the January that we were linked to Peter Crouch, Ashley Barnes, Chris Wood, all in the same window? Informed strikers.
I mean, there's been links with sort of Lewandowski and Griezmann as well, but Griezmann's not going.
Lewandowski is just I know City are keeping tabs on, but just it doesn't seem likely.
No.
We've kept tabs on him for years, but we just never bought him.
So Cam's no, Ben's on the fence. Reece, do you think Chelsea are going to pay them mega money to sign Mr. Erling Haaland, or is he going to stay in Dortmund for one final year?
One final year, then he's coming to Man United.
That's just not a bash right there.
One final year, and he's coming to City then.
I think we'll get Haaland. I think you'll get Kane. I think Chelsea will get Lukaku.
Haaland's a City fan.
No, he's a Leeds fan.
I feel so bad for Cam. Cam, he can't get involved in this.
I mean,
got a picture of a City shirt on him.
He's a Leeds fan. We all know he's a Leeds fan.
No. Why would he go United then?
And naturally, because Leeds players have got a habit of coming to Man United and being more successful.
True. No, I think what do you call? He's very likely to come to the Premier League. To who I don't know, but
he's an ex-Zlatan. He's an ex-Zlatan type player. Like he'll win stuff, he'll break records, or he'll get close to records. He'll make shitload of money, score lots of goals, then he'll move after about 2-3 years. Like he'll be like Zlatan, like have like one long stint.
That's fine. That's 2 goal triples for Chelsea. That's a confirmed 2 goal triples for Chelsea. There we go.
The difference is though, we've got the advantage. You don't.
Just to say, Cam, as I mentioned, about 33 players come back to Chelsea, only 6 or 7 are first-team players, the rest are the loan army. The fact that this pre-season friendly, you were getting disgusted at your game against Hibernian. We're playing a 4-2-3-1. Petr in goal. That's confirmed. Davy Sabarkos is at right back, and we have a pivot of Danny Jinkrod and Ross Barkley. Is that the worse than the Arsenal team that was against Hibernian?
Probably, considering the team you can put out and the team you're going to put out, yeah, probably.
Can we imagine this season we've seen Danny Drinkwater just playing for Chelsea regularly next season after one of the best pre-seasons ever? But my final question to you, obviously, because it's been a long show. I don't want to start. I'm sure you've all got extremely busy afternoons. I don't really know if you do or not. I was thinking, regarding the Premier League, right? Say Liverpool obviously will have Van Dijk back. They've obviously signed a new centre back. They'll be bringing a new midfielder to replace Gini. Chelsea obviously a question mark over the striker, but they could be up there. United look very strong.
Yazer as well, and he's a quality player.
That's very true. Yeah.
Juventus have said he's not for sale.
Yeah,
there's that. Like, anything.
Yeah, there's that. But if that was like, if it was a a world where you could sign anyone you want, and they got Chiesa. He's a quality player.
He is a quality player indeed.
Obviously, Manchester City are going to be up there. Even if he has to play a false nine last, like he proved last season, it works. Arsenal, you'll be fine for the European Conference League. Leicester have had an incredible window, so they'll be up there. Spurs on the one under Nuno, we don't know what Spurs are going to be like. They could so. Do we think we're in? I'll start off with you, Ben. Do you think we're in for a really, really competitive Premier League season, or do you think it'll be the usual City and Liverpool fighting for the league? Do we see a very interesting Premier League coming up, or a lot of teams are strengthening quite big. It's a lot of teams have kind of caught up to City in terms of the squad size. So how do you see it? How do you think this season's going to go?
I think it'll be similar to last season, where it will be competitive, but it'll be one of those things where it'll go a roundabout way to come into the same conclusion. You know what I mean? Like that's what happened last year. So not saying City will win it, but I'm saying in terms of top 4, 5th and 6th, blah blah blah. It'll be really competitive, blah blah. Everyone will beat each other, blah blah. But it'll still be whatever order: City, United, Liverpool, Chelsea, top 4, Leicester, someone else, Europa League, and then the rest. Like that. It seems to be the way at the moment, where it's kind of you go a roundabout way of just getting to the same conclusion at the moment. So I mean, I might be completely wrong, but that's what I would guess would happen.
Cam, your relegation fight next year will be very competitive.
That is just offensive.
I'm joking.
Yeah,
but in a general question, could you see a Mikel Arteta get Arsenal into the top 4 and this very different when you look at the other teams?
Whoa, steady on. You've just gone from relegation to top 4. Hold on.
They're not even making top 6.
We'd be look, realistically, we'd push for top 6. We could scrape into that top 6 bracket, but we'd have to have a good season. We'd have to play well consistently to get into there. Because we weren't even that far off this season. If you look at it, we were close considering the season we had. We weren't that far away. So
were Leeds. That's the funny thing. So were Leeds.
Oh, yeah, everyone was. That's what makes it interesting. So
Can I could just hear your heart just slowly tear apart as you're saying Arsenal going, just pushing them for the top 6. That hurts, doesn't it?
Got to be realistic. If I come and say, "Oh, we're going to win the league," or "We're going to get Champions League," that's just
Reece would tie good Twitter and call you delusional.
Reece, they would say that though. That's the thing. You got to be realistic.
Reece, you'll be talking about this on Monday on my channel on our podcast, Monday 7 p.m. on the Josh channel, but not the Danny Drinkwater channel. He owns a restaurant. How do you see the overall league? Do you see this being one of the most competitive Premier Leagues we've seen in recent years, where City aren't run away with it, or City and Liverpool are in the title race? Do you see a good 3-4 teams maybe pushing the league all the way, or do you think City will just edge it again? How do you see it being?
I think the main 4 that finished last year will be the exact same top 4, but they will push each other week after week. I think Leeds are going to be the crucial one. I think the way Leeds played against the top 6 last year, the way they handled each team at home, I think they're going to be
and they will have a full Annan Road next year too behind them.
Exactly. So that will give them a bit of an advantage. But in terms of the league, I don't think it's going to be City running away with it. I think that 14-point gap is going to be a lot shorter than what it was. I think it will get bridged. I think it'll be less than double digits, to be honest. I don't think Guardiola is going to get a runaway with this league this year. I think the way City played last year, teams have been watching them a lot, and you saw it in certain games last year. You can get this City team, and you can beat them.
Thomas Tuchel has Pep's number. Sorry, Ben.
No, to be fair, he can't seem to get the job done in the league against Solskjaer. So maybe Tuchel needs some advice. But I look at that team though. You would still expect Man City to be favourites to win the league. Naturally, you would expect them to be favourites to win the league. But I think they're going to set their sights on the Champions League. They're going to want to get to that final again, hopefully win it, which they won't. But that'll be Guardiola's focus. It'll be stamp on Europe and see if we can actually go and win it. And the rest of the league will just go and see what they can do. I think Liverpool's focus will just be doing better than what they did last year because they were appalling. Fantastic. Chelsea have got a lot to do. I don't see Leicester finishing the top 4. They're going to have the exact same as last season. They're going to finish 5th. 6th. I think 6th won't be West Ham. I think 6th could be Leeds, to be honest. But I think Leicester are the team to beat. But in terms of who's going to win the league, it's going to be one of the Manchester clubs again, to be honest.
Okay, we'll find out if it's coming to the red or blue. So we'll get into more detail closer to the season. So my final question to you always is: I like to end on like a funny hypothetical question. This is what I always do. And Reece, you know this very well from how I present. The same question you always start with Cam. What if you had to name a manager who you predict to be sacked first next year? Who do you think is being chopped?
Out of our clubs, or just
in the whole Premier League?
It's a tough one because I don't want to say it, but Mikel Arteta's somewhere in the mix there, isn't he?
He was trending Arteta out just after our pre-season game, you know.
No, I'm Arteta in. So no, don't get me mixed up. No, don't slander me like that.
Well, I can't wait to see the all or nothing.
Genuinely, I don't want to see it happen, but I mean, I don't think Patrick Vieira is going to do very well at Crystal Palace, and Palace are renowned for sacking managers. So for that reason, Patrick Vieira.
Ben, who do you think's getting the chop?
I'm just looking through the list of managers there, and you took my choice.
There we go.
Because I think it's a risk for a Premier League club to bring in, and he's an average manager. Like, no offense to him, he's an average manager, but it's a risk for a an average Premier League club. No offense to Crystal Palace, to bring in a foreign average manager because they don't know the league as well. If you bring in an average English manager, at least they know the league well, so they can get away with it a little bit. But with Vieira, I don't think. I mean, I might be completely wrong, but I don't think he'll get away with it.
That squad is so depleted.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So then, Reece, who do you think will be? Are you going to say? Don't tell me you're going to say Sean Dyche again.
I want them gone, like permanently. I want them gone from the league.
I'm very surprised. I'll see what you say, but I'm very surprised there's one person has to be mentioned. But go ahead.
Normally, I would say Sean Dyche or Steve Bruce, but who I actually think is going to be sacked first is Isco, the Watford manager.
I was going to say, how is no one said Watford yet?
Watford, that's a good shout.
It's always inevitable. Watford always sack managers. I think Watford and Norwich are going straight back down. Norwich are going to be bottom of the league, and Watford are going to finish just above them. But, yeah,
because they might go through 2 managers. Yeah.
I think they'll go through 4 or 5 before the season's out.
2-3 managers.
Right. I'm going to say something really controversial. All of these are going to be like, are you on drugs, Josh? Dean Smith.
Oof.
Whoa.
The reason I say Dean Smith, all right, hear me out here, okay? One, his defensive record is shocking, all right?
It was better last year.
No, but it got dramatically worse as the season gone on. And when Jack Grealish was injured compared to when he was in the team, their win rate went down by 86%. Jack Grealish is going to be going to City. They're going to be missing a lot of goals. They're going to miss a big creative threat. Defensively, they'll be a shambles, and I think he'll be sad. He'll be sad because of how well they did last year.
Well, to be fair, you look at Aston Villa. I get what you mean, but look at their team. Like Watkins is still consistent. They've got Buendia.
And we should remember Chris Ellis fell together. I know he's not on social media as much, but he said that if Dean Smith loses about 4 or 5 start open games of the league, Aston Villa are sacking him. They've already said that, and that's why I've got Dean Smith as my first manager to be sacked.
It's brave, but it's logical.
I don't see them losing 4 or 5 opening games though. I mean, they've built a decent side and they've got a good defence. They have got a good defence as well, and obviously John Terry as their defensive coach is still good for them. So I wouldn't completely write off Villa, but I get your point. In terms of I don't see any of the top 4 making.
Well, a couple of them actually have question marks about. You've got Steve Bruce, but he always seems to keep doing enough.
He will not be Newcastle manager by the end of this season.
Daniel Farke, would he get sacked if Norwich do badly again?
No, I think the Norwich owner likes him too much.
And I think the final point, I think the biggest manager that has the question marks probably Hasenhüttl. If he starts the season like the end of the last one, he's probably gone too. So
I think he deserves a bit more respect than what he gets, because yes, he's unfortunate. He had a 9-0 spanking twice in the league, which, to be fair, the second one, even though it was against Man United, he lost a young player in the first 35 seconds, and then they got totally ripped apart. But he's shown that he can still coach his team really well in games where they can cause problems, and he still play good football. I don't see him getting sacked. I just think they really need to properly back him, because Southampton have got wealthy owners. I just don't think they've got the balls to put money in. I think they deliberately refuse to pay.
He says something about Hasenhüttl in terms of his quality as a manager, that he's been smashed 9-0 twice and he's still in the job. Like he must be doing something right. He must have some quality about him to still be.
I guarantee he would do wonders at one of the bigger clubs in English football. I reckon he would. He would improve Arsenal like that.
Do we think the Brentford coach has any chance of getting sacked, or do you think him getting them into the Premier League saves them, no matter how bad they do?
I hope in my opinion, because it's Brentford's first season in the Premier League, he should get a free pass. If he gets sacked, then for Brentford, that's absolutely disgusting, because it's their first season in English top flight football, like in terms of the Premier League. If they sack him, it's a disgrace.
Just to say this, in terms of overall managers, including the Championship, I think Scott Parker or Marco Silva, they're going to be gone by Christmas.
I think that Thomas Frank for Brentford's got a good relationship with the fans, though. So
it's like Nuno. It's like Nuno for Wolves. He's got such bad form, but he can still have a good relationship. And
Nuno will be sacked if Spurs don't win that European Conference League. The easiest competition. The easiest competition. Cam,
nope.
If Spurs didn't win that European Conference League, or I still didn't win a trophy, and the easiest thing known to man, like you just banter Spurs all day long.
It doesn't actually mean anything. Like, who really cares about it? So if you don't win it, even if you win it, you're not going to be like, oh yes, we won the European Conference League. So if you lost it, why would you be bothered as well? Like,
I think it'll be Roma. I think Roma will win that.
Yeah,
I think Roma will beat Spurs in the final.
Well, we'll leave it in there, because we could talk for hours and hours and hours on this, and you've all got busy first season. I don't know if you've got anything to do, but I can't keep you here for 3 hours, because otherwise my computer would die trying to download this for YouTube tomorrow. So, Cam, thank you very much for coming on for the other time. Hope you've enjoyed it.
Yeah. Thank you again.
And just Ben, you made your first appearance. Hopefully, we'll get you on again sometime very soon. We'll get you on when Thomas Tuchel beats you again.
Cool, no problem.
Just say, this is why I'm a better host than Tom. Look how well this show done. Just make sure you tell Tom. Not all right.
I'll probably see Ben again when it gets to the Manchester derby.
Yeah.
Well, I'll maybe try and get some Manchester derby preview on my channel. We'll get used to on for it. And obviously, Reece, is the first time you meet these two guys on my right. Yeah, on my right.
Left.
It's my right. Your left.
No, my right. Your left.
Okay, whatever. Right. Okay. Right. I'm going to edit that out. No, I'm joking. But obviously, this is the first time you meet these two guys. It's your first time on the Blue Podcast. It's obviously your 100th time meeting me. I hope you've enjoyed a different look and different personnel and different channels. Hopefully, we'll get you on again.
It's been great. Thanks for having me on. Obviously, my internet did glitch out there, but I managed to get back in. But no, it's been a pleasure. So thanks for having me on. Obviously, two good guys I haven't spoken to before as well. So it's been a pleasure.
All descriptions of these guys are in the description below. Not Danny Drinkwater. My description is everyone. Danny Drinkwater. Go to a restaurant somewhere in England. I don't know why he opened a restaurant, but anyway. Also, make sure to hit the subscribe button. We're reaching close to 850 subscribers. Obviously, when that happens, Ben will be doing all the intros on the show, so it'll be bloody worth it.
No chance. No chance.
It'll be worth hitting that subscribe button, and also, we've also agreed if we get to 900 subscribers, Cam has to wear his first shirt. So,
I'd burn it. I'd burn it on site. I would do that for 900. If it I would burn a Spurs shirt on stream.
And then also if we reach 900 scrolls, we'll get Reece to wear a Celtic shirt too, just to add it into the mix. So there's loads of reasons to hit the subscribe button. All socials are in the description below. Thank you very much.
I'm probably wearing a Celtic shirt, mate. That's like touching up disease.
Thank you very much for watching the Golden Show again. We'll be back next Friday for 6 p.m. on the Blue Podcast. Right, thank you guys. Enjoy the rest of your week.
Why do you let us
hurt one another just for the dollar? Did you lose your heart in the darkness deep in your pocket? No, I don't care of the price I pay. I don't wanna spend my life that way. Tell me, is the pain that you're causing worth what you profit?
Yeah, I know that money don't buy happiness, but buys you more material shit. Been reworking how I think and what it means to be rich. I used to think it meant to flex, so Rolex on my wrist. Feels bad to take more than you give. Lately hate how we live. I never want to become the things that I hate. With a man in the mirror with laugh and spit in my face and tell me that the money is maybe another fake. I've been drowning in my mind and my money's been at it. Wait, oh Lord, please save me. I should've known that something man-made couldn't make me. I say I'm making music, or is music what creates me? I never have an answer, same question every day. See, when we pass on, all our things are passed on to the next. Everything we didn't do is everything we regret. Every day we fucking work for this worthless check. If you're not happy, you're forever in debt. You're forever in debt.